Don needs a new designer, Stan sleeps with Annie Hall, and Marie Francais a stupid name. Tonight we're looking at Mad Men 709 New Business on What's on the Box. Hi, I'm James.
And I'm James.
And this is What's on the Box, where we review and discuss the latest episode of your favorite TV show.
Tonight we'll be talking about Mad Men episode 709, New Business.
New Business. Looks a whole lot like Old Business to me.
Very good point, James. Don is up to his old tricks, and nothing really happens to further the story, even though we only have 6 episodes left.
Yeah, come on, Matt. Who didn't groan when the waitress showed up? Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah, the waitress was a huge bummer.
I don't like it.
I mean, we've watched this episode twice now, and it sucked less the second time through. It's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, this show is the best show. It's because every single time you go back to it, there's more there to dig out of it.
So what are you digging out of Diana?
Well, last week we talked about the theme of a life not lived, which was explicit in last week's episode, and I think still present this week. Don is seeing a lot of that life not lived in Diana, and it's something that isn't executed perfectly, but nonetheless I think justifies her presence a little bit. We open the episode with the Norman Rockwell scene at the Francis home, where Betty has pretty much gotten everything she wanted.
Betty seems very happy, finally.
Don sees this, and as he leaves, he looks back at a life not lived.
Or a life lived and thrown away.
Once Diana returns to our lives, I think that she too is a representation of a life not lived for Don in a couple different ways. First, she has Midwestern roots, and she ran away to New York. This is something that obviously resonates with Don. Furthermore, she's running away from a life she doesn't want, which is the #1 play in the Don Draper playbook.
Yeah, I do see a big difference though, because she feels guilty about what she's done, and she wants to wallow in that guilt. She is inflicting self-punishment, and she tells Don, when I'm with you, I don't feel that guilt, so we can't be together. And Don thinks that he gets it. He tells her, look at this place, I've been here before, I've done this before, it's not your fault. But I don't think he has really done it before. I don't think he's been as self-reflective as she is being and been as accepting of his past behaviors, at least not in a sober way. He seems to drown his fears and sorrows with a lot of alcohol.
But so was Diana. When she calls Don, she's drunk.
That's true.
When she goes to his apartment, she's drunk. When he comes over to her apartment, the first thing she does is start drinking. She's a weaker version of who Don could be. And I think that that's her point in this episode, is that she's showing, through the 3 Don Draper women that we see in this episode, Betty, Megan, and Diana, we're seeing 3 different versions of lives that Don could have had.
Don't forget Sylvia, she's in there too.
Oh, you're right.
And she seems to mostly ignore Don.
Her tone, though, in the brief interaction that we do have, she's still angry.
Oh, I felt more that she had come to terms with her and Don's past. She seemed friendly in the elevator. For me, it seemed as though she was comfortable moving on from Don in that brief interaction.
But I think that we're seeing a little bit of what Don's life would have been like in Manhattan with a housewife wife. Like, Megan isn't the same kind of wife that Sylvia is, that isn't the same kind of wife as Betty is. So we're seeing all these different iterations of lives that Don could have had. Maybe. It's helping.
Let's use that to justify the waitress.
This is giving the benefit of the doubt to this storyline.
You think Diana will be back?
God, I hope not. What else can she do?
She can lie about more kids being dead.
There is one other thing I noticed, though. Is Don seems really comfortable. And in like a casual way, not in like an emotional way like he was with Rachel, or a kind of weird, dominating way like he was with Suzanne.
Or Megan.
He's just kind of chilling.
And that kind of chill attitude spills over to his interaction with Megan when he gives her $1 million to end everything. But Megan is not having a good time. She is not chill.
No, she's not doing well, it's clear.
Megan struggles as an actress, and I don't think, you don't really expect that to happen at first.
No, because when we meet Megan, she's successful.
Even Peggy says, I think she's just one of those girls who's good at everything.
I think that having to work for things is new to Megan, which is why I don't think that she's going to do well when she's a millionaire.
Now, a lot of people online are upset at Megan for taking that money, and upset at her in general, I think, after this episode. How do you feel?
I think that's ridiculous. I think that a lot of that anger is coming from Megan pretty much quoting Roger when she finally breaks down and screams at Don.
But people don't think it's justified. She says, "You ruined my life."
I think it's projecting. Mad Men, so many times, has characters projecting onto other characters their own feeling. It's Peggy's baked beans pitch when she screams at the baked beans people. It's Don's pitch in 401. I forget what client it is.
The bikini?
This time, it's Megan screaming at Don. It's her insecurities. She's ruined her own life. Not entirely. Don doesn't get away scot-free.
Don did ruin her soap job.
Yes, that's 100% on Don. But I think that Megan shows a lot of agency in this episode, regardless of that tirade. She's very forward with her feelings with her sister and with her mom. She communicates very well what she wants out of this moving process, and it's these other people that are fucking everything up.
Her sister is a pain. She's just very dramatic, old-fashioned, and with the stupidest name.
Marie Francaise.
It's just Marie France.
Marie France.
They just took the mom's name and added France.
Yeah, you mean the A doesn't stand for America?
James America Janice. You caught me.
Even though her storyline is quite tragic, between Harry and walking in basically and her mom's marriage ending, I think that there's a lot of humor in that storyline.
Well, Roger kills it in that scene.
I should go.
And he has the scene earlier.
Oh, with the secretaries?
That's like a vaudeville act.
This certainly is a two-man job.
Meredith, Shirley, and Caroline, all knocking it out of the park.
Meredith carrying those golf clubs out reminded me of Pete having to carry the skis out.
And I got to see that.
There's also a lot of humor in the French dialogue. Like, their delivery is fantastic, and it's so biting and so backhanded. Her sister's so accidentally mean. Her mom's so purposefully mean.
And then there's Harry Crane, who somehow became even more of a sleazebag. I didn't know he could get any more detestable. Disclaimer, Harry Crane is one of my favorite characters on this show.
Fantastic.
Rich Sommers, amazing.
Underrated performance.
Definitely.
I love the scene where he comes in and he's like coyly talking to Don about like, so Megan asked me to have a lunch, you know, and Don's like, we're not married anymore.
Yeah.
He walks out of there like, permission to bone granted. What a jackass.
He told Don, I do this a lot. Does that mean...
Oh, for sure. This is not his first rodeo. He took that one gal to the party in California for that purpose.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm helping. Although Megan says that he helped out those two friends of hers. So he did. He followed through. Harry's nothing if not good at his job.
We can always say that about old Harry Crane.
That's about all there is to say about the Megan storyline. Let's move on to the C story, which is Stan, Peggy, and Pima Ryan. It's finally a Stan episode. Similar to last week, how we got an episode all about Ken Cosgrove.
Accounts.
This week we get another amazing supporting player, Stan, and his amazing beard.
Oh, so dreamy.
I spent all of high school trying to get that hair. Never worked.
This is another one that touches on the life not lived, because Stan feels empty when he puts himself up against this established, critically acclaimed artist.
Yeah. Stan feels as though he's squandered his artistic ability, sensibility.
He's not the same guy who came into Sterling Cooper Draper Price and showed that Ku Klux Klan ad.
He references that a little bit in this episode when he says everything I have that's good is from so long ago. He's looking at this like, oh, well, this isn't art, we're just selling things. And even though Pima says all art is selling something, he has that great deadpan delivery of,
No, we're actually selling something. Today it's vermouth.
and today we're drinking Manhattans.
It's for you, Stan.
He has this great moment with his girlfriend, his like cute, supportive, fun nurse girlfriend.
So of course she has to get cheated on.
Immediately,
Man,
Stan
come on, Stan.
confirmed now that the last remaining good character in the show is Ken Cosgrove.
Accounts.
Yeah, shacks up with Mrs. Kensington.
I mean, she's out to seduce him though. It's a total power move.
And she tries it on Peggy too. Doesn't work. I think Peggy enjoys the attention, but I think she sees through it better than Stan does. Stan is so eager to get his validation that it works on him, whereas Peggy, she's more self-confident. Despite the fact that Peggy says Stan has a huge ego. And I think that's probably why Pima then goes and strokes it.
You son of a bitch. Well, it's interesting that you bring up that line because Peggy says no, he has a huge ego right after Pima says he hates himself. And I think that Peggy believes that those two are mutually exclusive, and that's not necessarily the case.
Look at Don.
The other thing, too, is we get a little bit of vindictiveness from Peggy. She's not going to hire Pima again. And it's out of jealousy. I think that if Pima had only come on to Peggy, she'd get another job. I mean, their relationship, in a way, has never really gotten out of that hotel room.
I disagree. I think it's grown a lot.
It's grown a lot, but it's rooted in that. They're very close, and that closeness was born there, in that crucible of nudity.
That was that stage adaptation of The Crucible, right?
Right. Yeah, it was off Broadway. I'm still waiting for my check.
Any other stray thoughts about the episode?
Roger killed it. We mentioned that. Mustache is really growing on me. It works for him.
Pete was used sparingly, but so brilliantly.
Probably will.
He just is so quick to acknowledge now how superior Don is to him.
He's just so beaten down now.
Yeah.
He's just a kicked dog.
And he still can't drive.
It's taking my mind off your driving.
That's what I mean, like going back and thinking about the episode more, as much as I hated the waitress, every other part of this episode is great. Pete in his 2 scenes, great. Roger in his 2 scenes, great. Secretary's great. Megan, great. Stan, great. Peggy, great. Everything's great, except for the fucking waitress.
On that note, that about does it for our discussion of new business. But we want to continue the conversation with you in the comments below.
Very informal discussion. We just enjoy talking about the show. So we had a lot of good, we had a great response last week with the first episode. You don't eat the cherry.
Why not? What? But it's there.
Isn't it gross? It's like all alcohol-y.
Yeah.
We really enjoy doing these, and we're really excited for our other premiere episode, Game of Thrones, so watch that one too.
Until then, I'm James.
I'm James.
And this has been What's on the Box?
There are only 4 episodes left until the series finale of Mad Men.
You know you should subscribe to this channel.
I'm sorry. I'll subscribe right now.
Pete, go subscribe.
Don't miss another great video. Are you still going to subscribe? Jesus, you didn't subscribe. What?
I really liked that video.
They only get better.